Okay, hello everyone. Hello. Sorry for the delay. Had some technical difficulties with the stream. Apparently, when you're setting up the stream, there is an option to set up multiple cameras, and the problem is when you accidentally hit the multiple camera buttons, especially if you don't have an extra camera set up, um, there's no way to unselect the extra cameras, at least not any way that I can particularly find. And so basically that resulted in me having to basically delete the old link and create a new stream. Of course, with all the other stuff I was doing, having to get set up, which is what you guys have been watching me do for the last 20 minutes or so. I guess it would be worth taking a moment, especially since you actually watched me set up the board, to actually see, kind of understand what my process is when what I'm doing each turn. So I'm not going to stop waving it so you can't see it, but because it has some secret information on. But each player, or each team, I should say, because some teams have more than one player on it. Each team submits a turn sheet that gives them their builds, their moves, leader guard movement, and any public announcements that they want to make. So they email that to me, and then what I do through all of that is I have a ledger. This is the master document. Um, so if it's not on here, it doesn't exist. And this is where I maintain all of my information. There's a section for movement. This section's for movement stuff here. This section's for like your income, any random events, miscellaneous income. Say if you send another team some money, it'll show up in their miscellaneous income. Any type of bills that they have, and then any miscellaneous expenses, i.e., you're giving money to another country, or maybe the colonial territories are paying money for native allies. That would go in there. And then we have kind of a combat tracker chart. Now, the thing to keep in mind, in um, most of the sections up here, it's the intent is to keep track of a miniature wargaming campaign. And so that's why, like in a battle, it keeps track of, how many actual castings, or how many, actual casualties does each country cause in that particular battle. And then a section down here for notes. And then down here on the bottom, this is the actual master. Each territory, how many of each type of units in each territory per turn, how many moves out, moves in, how many you build, how many become casualties. If you lose a battle, if you retreat out, and then you retreat into a different territory, and then the end of the turn. So by this, I can keep track of how many um, troops are in each territory. And the thing to keep in mind, especially there's been a couple where it's like, oh, I listed, such and such territory has 5, and then somebody comes back and says, oh wait, no, actually it's 6. And I don't know if there's a different way to do it, but what I've been doing is keeping for random events, any type of random events that causes somebody to get more SPs, I put it into the quote unquote build section. And conversely, any SPs that are removed due to, like desertion or whatnot, those get put in as casualties. And so what'll happen is, when I'm making the master sheet, I will end up just looking at the list of SPs that's in the starting column, and then I'll forget to look at the if there's been any random events build column, or random events casualty column. So that's usually where the discrepancy comes from. And then today, that's kind of what my hangup was. Is I didn't get to working on the ledger until about an hour prior to scheduled start time. So it kind of put me behind with everything. So that all being said, I do believe we're ready to begin. The revenue has all been collected, so we are done with the revenue phase. And we are starting in the diplomacy phase of turn 4. Now, prior to going, you know what? I'll take a moment, look at some chat. We do have some activity in the chat. Iron Rider said, "Hello, I'm not going to be available tonight, so I left orders for the judge on my country's channel. Gloria Britannia." That is true. So I do have those notes. Mr. Entwistle, who's playing as Russia, responds, "Niet," and then says, "Sadly, I have to go out in a second as well." He says it's 10 a.m. there. That's really early. We're interested in knowing where Mr. Entwistle is. And then Mr. Glennon, Spain, we are almost there. Yes, we are, because we are here now. Diplomacy. Public announcements. Austria. Austria has an alliance with the Kingdom of France. The Empress has heard from the refugees of Silesia in regard to the torture, starvation, and the ill treatment of Austrian citizens. News that King Frederick and his death head hussars are raping and pillaging the countryside. The Empress pleads to all nations that this must stop. We will avenge. Diplomacy phase, public announcements. England. From King George. England wishes to appeal to the states of Holland and Portugal for their aid against the Bourbon kingdoms of France and Spain. England calls upon subjects of North America to engage in brutal rebellion and bring about cruel attrition against the occupiers, regardless what they do. England authorizes piracy against France and Spain. Looks like he's set out some contracts for some privateers. It's very interesting. Diplomacy phase, public announcements, France. From Versailles, France is proud to support the efforts of our friend the Jacobites. Which that reminds me, I need to place those out right quick. The Jacobites have 5 SP. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one thing I did forget to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have a sub-general and a king. There we go. To continue. From Versailles, France is proud to support the efforts of our friend the Jacobites. France declares an alliance with the Habsburgs of Austria. The Ottomans are silent. The Prussians, diplomacy phase, public announcements. Prussia stands in defense of our lands and people. Hail to the king. Diplomacy phase, public announcements. Russia, all caviar shipments to France have been stopped. Now that is most dubious, I must declare. Man, I don't know. That might bring about the French Revolution right there, not having any access to caviar. España? España has no public announcements. They are silent. They are still mourning their dead who have drowned in the Caribbean. And Sweden is silent as well. The diplomacy phase is fini. Move and build plot. They have sent me their emails. I have made corrections, and so we are done with the build plotting phase. One thing, if I can add, I know I did not make a video kind of describing how I'd like you guys to fill out the forms. That was Mr. Entwistle. Oh, you're still here. Add Spain to that ban. Okay, Spain, you've also restricted. You have a caviar restriction. But anyway, so filling out the forms, especially in light of seeing the ledger that I've done, it would be a benefit to me if you all could please, if you have troops that are not moving, you don't need to list them and tell me that they're not moving. Secondly, if you have generals and whatnot There is a section for generals and guard movement in its own section. Do not include general or guard movement in the land movement section um, because it has its own section. Again, like I said, I have everything segmented out and organized. It kind of helps me proceed a little bit faster. And then also, just procedurally, um, moving a troop from land onto a transport fleet is naval movement. Um, it is not part of land movement. So you need to put in your naval movement section, I'm moving an SP from uh, Spain to the Mediterranean. And then during land movement, you say, I'm moving an SP from the Mediterranean to Naples. Don't put in land movement, I'm moving from Spain to Naples. Again, do the process and how things organize. Um, so that'll just kind of help keep me um, keep myself organized, and I would greatly appreciate it. And again, if you guys do um, require a little bit more explanation, do not hesitate to ask me, or if you want me to video going through filling out the form, I'd be happy to make a video going through how to fill out the form. But all in all, it's no big deal. It's just a thing to kind of help me make the process a little bit faster. So, move and build plot is complete. Naval movement. Do we have any naval movement? Does Austria have naval movement? No, they do not. England. England has some naval movement. They are moving transport fleet from the North Sea into the port in England. In the Western Atlantic, they are moving one heavy battle fleet, two light fleets, and a transport fleet to the Caribbean. And that is it for naval movement. For the British, excuse me. France. Okay, so I need to kind of parse some of this out. France, from the Black Sea, they are moving one light battle fleet from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, and they're moving two transport fleets from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. They are moving from the Eastern Atlantic to the North Sea. They are moving one medium battle fleet and one light battle fleet. I do believe that is it for French fries movement. The Ottomans do not have a navy. The Prussians do not have a navy. The Russians do not have a navy. España. España. Um, oh, and one other thing, if I could just also including, for example, just to give an example, for Spain, they put in the Eastern Atlantic to Eastern Atlantic medium battle fleet are doing a blockade. That's not necessary to do. If they start in that sea zone and they don't move, they're automatically considered to be engaging in blockade, so you don't actually have to write that. So, Spain is moving one SP from Spain to the Eastern Atlantic. And I think I missed it in the France turn. France is moving 2 SP from southern France onto the Spanish transport fleet. And then that transport fleet is moving from the eastern Atlantic to the North Sea. I do believe that is it for Spain. And Sweden is not moving any naval movement. Hurricanes do not apply in spring. Those are winter turn onlys. Naval combat. We do not have any naval combat because there are no opposing navies in the same sea zone. Continuing to land moves. Starting with Austria. Austria is moving 2 SP from Austria to Bohemia. Austria is moving 7 SP from Franconia. Franconia is right here. Moving from Franconia to Hesse. This is going to be interesting. We have 7 Austrian SP versus 1 English SP and 2 Prussian SP at the moment. So we'll see how that plays out. And then Austria is moving 16 SP from Austria to Silesia. So there's 1, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16. That is the remaining stack in Austria is moving into Silesia. This is certainly interesting. Austria is moving on the offensive. Austria is moving in to reclaim their lost territory of Silesia. England. England is moving 1 colonial SP from Nepal to Bengal. England is moving 3 SP from Scotland to England. They have retired out of Scotland. That is certainly interesting. And that is all for England. Mr. Entwistle. You're listening as you drive. Well, drive safely. And if you don't mind me asking, which part of the world do you find yourself in? You said it's 10 a.m., so that's see, it's 6 now. I mean, that's a long time ahead. So I'm just kind of curious where you're at. France. France from Westphalia to Hesse is moving 3 SP into Hesse. course, you're also driving, so yeah, don't want to text and drive and all that. So I guess whenever you get to a safe spot, if you feel inclined, I'd be curious to know. Uh, Continuing with France, southern France, excuse me, it would be in this case actually the North Sea. The North Sea moving 2 SP from the North Sea into Scotland. They are also moving the Marines from the Eastern Atlantic into Scotland. From Westphalia, France is moving 2 SP into the United Provinces. And from Berg, moving 3 SP into Hesse. So that is certainly. And then from the Maharatas, moving 2 SP from the Maharatas to Mysore. Which I forgot to write that down. The Ottomans. Let me shift this just a little bit. There we go. The Ottomans from Wallachia to Moldavia are moving 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To Moldavia or Moldavia, I presume. From Turkey to Georgia, moving 1 SP. And from Dobruja to Moldavia, also moving 1 SP. I think I forgot to put out. I need to stop for a moment because I did not put out. That is it for the Ottoman movement. We'll take a break for a moment as I look at the chat. Nothing has changed, but I do need to look. I did forget. Nope, I don't want you. I need to look at Russia. Northern Ukraine, southern Ukraine. Okay. Oh, I butchered their setup. Southern Russia has. I butchered their setup completely. Southern Russia has 3 SP, not 1. Southern Ukraine and Northern Ukraine each have 1. Kiev and Lithuania each have 5. Courland has 1. Crimea has 1. Yep, okay, there we go. We're good. All right, continuing. Prussia. From Hanover, they are moving 1 SP into Prussia. From Hesse, they're moving 2 SP into Saxony. I feel like I'm missing something. Nope, I'm not. All right. From Prussia into Silesia. Prussia is moving 1 SP into Silesia. And from the Duchy of Warsaw, they are moving 4 into Silesia. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that, I do believe, by my count, that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're currently sitting at 8 Prussian SP versus 16 Austrian SP. That is certainly interesting. A 2-to-1, 2-to-1 right there. See how well that goes. And then from Livonia to Poland. 1 SP. 1 SP is moving down here. And that is it for Prussian movement. Russia. Russia is moving 4 SP from Kiev to central Russia. From Lithuania to Kiev, they're moving 4 SP as well. And then from Crimea into Georgia, they're moving 8 SP. That is 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that is the wrong token. There we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. So right now we're sitting at 8 Russian SP and 6, 7, 8 Ottoman SP. So that's certainly going to be interesting. Bert C. War in Silesia is imminent. Yes, yes it is. Most definitely. So that is it for the Russian movement. Spain. Spain is moving from North Sea to Scotland. Come back over, excuse me. North Sea to Scotland. They're moving 1 SP. From the Eastern Atlantic to Scotland, they're doing an amphibious assault with the Marines to join. From the Southern Colonies to Florida, they are moving 2 SP. And from the Mid-Atlantic to the Southern Colonies, excuse me, let me get that over. I apologize. You did not see that. So we just moved 2 regular SP out of the Southern Colonies into Florida. And from the Mid-Atlantic colonies to the Southern Colonies, they're moving 1 regular SP and 2 colonial SP. From the Maharajas to Mysore, they are moving 3 Colonial SP and 1 regular SP. That is it for Spanish move. Sweden. Yes, you missed it. Stephen Cyrus, like a touchdown, yes. Michael Glennon, maybe I missed it. Did the French have land movement in India? Yes, they did. They moved from the Maharajas to Mysore, so they're there as well. Sweden. 2 SPs which are located in Westphalia. Let me stand by here a second. That's 5. Are wearing Swedish coats and flying Swedish flags. They moved from Westphalia into the United Provinces. Oops. Leaving 4 SP, French SP in the Westphalia area. All right, that's it for movement. Builds. Austria is building 3 in Milan. Austria is building 5 in Austria. And in Franconia, they're building 1 to replace what moved out of there. That's it for the Austrian builds. England. England is building 3 in Hanover. I think it's much more fun to announce where the builds and stuff are in a way that makes things more dramatic. So you got 3 in Hanover. They build 3 in England. And they're building a light battle fleet in Jamaica. So that is import in Jamaica. France. What's more exciting? The boring stuff. Southern France is building 1 in southern France, or excuse me, building 2 SP in southern France. They're building 2 colonial SP in the Maharajan states. That's the wrong one. There we go. And they're building a heavy battle fleet and a medium battle fleet in the Eastern Atlantic. Actually, that would probably, they didn't actually say, it doesn't actually get built in the Eastern Atlantic, it gets built in the sea zone. So it's being built in northern France. At that one port right there. I can't remember the name of it. Right at the tip. So that is that for France. The Ottomans. The Ottomans are building one SP in Turkey. They're building two in Don. They're building two in Moldavia. And they're building one in Dobruja. Prussia. Prussia is building 9 SP in Silesia. I have to figure out if I have enough chips for it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what was once 8 becomes 17. And I do apologize for that. I think the camera was off screen, so let me back up a little bit. Shift this, stand by. So the Ottomans built in Turkey, they built 2 in Don, and they built 2 in Moldavia, and then 1 in Dobruja. And then in Silesia, Prussia built 9 in Silesia. And depending on how closely you look, even though Silesia does have 2 red chips, the Prussian stack is taller than the Austrian stack, for whatever that's worth. Oh, South Australia. Excellent, very good. Welcome from Australia. Thank you for joining us and playing. I appreciate it. Now, Mr. Entwistle, just so you know, this does affect you. Central Russia, they're only able to build 4 SP there because the value of the territory is 2. They can only build twice what the value of the territory is. So they build 4 in Central Russia. And then they also build 1 in Southern Russia. Where are you? Southern Russia. Got to get rid of make sure all of the caviar shipments stop, since they have put down their foot and said no more caviar for the French and Spanish. Spain. Spain is building 1 SP in Spain. Boop. Spain is building a colonial SP in Cuba. They are also building a light battle fleet in Cuba. Spain is building a colonial SP in the Leeward Islands. Spain is building 3 light battle fleets And again, I apologize. I need to shift this back over. There we go. They built Leeward Islands. They built Spain. They built Cuba. They built northern Spain. There's 3 light battle fleets, as well as a transport fleet. And while I'm thinking about it, before I forget, stand by. I gotta get the webcam to stop being silly. There we go. Steve Cyrus, they have their snails? Yeah, yeah. Bert C, that I didn't know. Welcome. And Mr. Entwistle, good luck. Off again. Yes, well, have a good one. Uh, so, and the focus is here on this spot, but still kind of see up there. They built that stuff there. Now, before I forget, the Spanish transport fleet in the North Sea up here is flipped over to its supply side because it's providing supply to those the 2 French, the 1 Spanish SP up there. To continue, so New Spain built 3 light battle fleets and a transport fleet, and in Florida, Spain is building 2 heavy battle fleets. So it looks like Spain, after using all the driftwood from their fleets that sunk, using those to build more. Sweden. Let me get my chips. Stand by a minute. And I'm actually remembering to move the camera this time ahead of time. Hello, GM. What did I say? I said, oh, the driftwood. Yes, that's right. Because it's funny. It's hilarious. Okay, Sweden. Sweden is building 2 in Pomerania, 2 in Mecklenburg, 2 in Denmark, and 1 in Sweden. It's funny because it's true. All right. That is it for the builds. We have completed building. Next will be land combat. We do have some land combat. Looks like we have... Let me shift. Let's see if we can get something in the middle. Just doing a quick glance over everything. We have NPC combat in Mysore, NPC combat in the United Provinces. I think that's it for the NPC combat. There is no combat in Scotland. England moved out of Scotland. But the French and Spanish landings there, they land in support of the Jacobites. They're not actually attacking the Jacobites there. So they are landing in support of. Um, see, Georgia has a battle. Hestia has a battle. I believe that's. Oh, and Silesia. How could I forget that one? That's like the biggest battle of them all. We're going to save Silesia for the last. We're going to save Georgia for the second to last. We are going to let's work left to right at that point, get all the NPCs out. So we have Mysore, United Provinces, and that's it for the NPC stuff. So let me grab my notebook because I think I might have forgotten to write some of that down. What did I do with my notebook? I gotta find my notebook. Here we go. All right, turn 4, Georgia, Scotland, which they fell back out of. So that doesn't apply anymore. And of course, I'm missing my pen because that happens when you need it. All right, Scotland doesn't happen. And then Mysore, that was the other one. Mysore, that's NPC. All right, so we're going to do that one first. We're going to do Mysore first. That's on that side of the board. Let me shift. Down here. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 SP moving in on Mysore. That's which is a 3 value, 3 territory. So that is a 2 to 1. If you'll stand by for a second, I'm going to go mute. I'm going to untangle my cord. I have returned. And we got some dice. All right. Mysore, it's 2 to 1. There are 2 to 1, so they get a +1 to the die roll. Here we go. 1 plus 1 is 2. So, what happens when you roll a 2? Let's just say we are going to do some retreat for combat, so I'm not going to get too far ahead. Attacker retreats. It's just a straight retreat, no losses. So they all retreat to the territory from whence they came. No changes. Make sure I write that down. Mr. Glennon, I so appreciate you. Who soar? My soar. Who soar? You soar. We soar. Me roar. Go France. Go Spain. And you guys lost. So apparently your guys' cheers and chants did not give you the proper karma required to win. All right. Next is the United Provinces. The United Provinces. I think it's just a straight die roll. I know there was a point when I was... Yeah, I don't think there's... Okay, so it's just a straight. It's going to be... They're moving in with 4. And the value of 2 is the territory. So again, it's a 2 to 1, so they'll get a +1 to their die roll. I will shift over to the right since our focus for the remainder of this turn is outside of the colonies. And naturally, the camera will not focus. There we go. Hoopy, IP. We'll find out. 2 to 1. +1 to the die roll. Here it goes. 6. We rolled a 6. +1 makes it a 7. I do believe that will mean the attacker wins +1 SP. I need to... I do recall, or I do believe, that the discussion was that Sweden was going to control the United Provinces. So Sweden goes up 2. I don't know if there was any mention of who controls the SP. I don't recall at the moment. For the moment, we're going to say Sweden gets the SP since they control the territory, and if the Swedes and the French want to negotiate something else, they can work that out on their own. Okay. So next, one thing we do need to do, looking at Hessia, there are 4, a lot to a little. Yeah, 4, 5, 6 French plus 7 Austrian. So that's 13 to 1. I do believe the English are going to try to retreat. Technically, they happen before any combat, even in PC combat. But so that technically should have been done earlier, but whatever. So, but we need to generate pursuit dice. So the French... The French have 6. France, group F. They get 1 pursuit die. Austria with their 7. Group C. They get 2. So there's a total of 3 pursuit dice at the moment. The English, with their 1 SP, do not get any pursuit dice. So we're rolling 3 straight dice to see if that English SP gets cut down in the retreat. Needs a natural 6. We do have 1 natural 6, so yes, the English lose 1 SP in their retreat from Hessia. Um, retreat SP. Now, Austria and France, it was not. Austria, your group C, you have 7 SP, you get 2 dice. It's on the chart. Boop, chart. That chart there. What you guys need to tell me, France and Austria, is I did not see. Oh, for France, you have 6 SP. You are group F. Yep, 1 die. Yep. France and Austria, I did not see in your discussions who controls Hesha. Or are you guys going to fight over it? That would be pretty funny. I'd like to see that, actually. Are we going to have a second battle because you guys fight over it and can't agree, even though you're allied? Whatever. Let me know. Or you could split it. I suppose that's always a possibility, too. We'll pass on that for now. We'll move over to Georgia. Sweet Georgia on my mind. So Georgia, 8v8, except they each have a general present. Hesha goes to France. James Hughes says fight. Just kidding. So at the moment, I guess it goes to France. France goes up 2. France is sitting at 33 at the moment. All right, going back. Battling. The Ottomans also gain 1 defensive works. Now, here's the thing. Because Russia is moving through a mountain pass, and they have 8, they generate a die for every 3 SP instead of the normal 2 SP, so they only generate 3 dice. Nope, nope, nope. 1, 2, 3. Conversely, the Ottomans have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, as we recall from a previous turn, due to Ottoman inferiority, the first number 5 that they roll does not count as a hit. And Angelina Giles. Well, hello, Angelina Giles. How are you? You say you have 2 generals, eh? Well, let me verify my paperwork with the ledger. Let me get the ledger. Yes, because we changed the. Yes, that's right. Because there was a correction. I do recall. Let me make that note. So, if I recall, yes, you do have 2. I need to find my pencil. Ah, there's my pen. Second general. All right, so 2 generals. Now there was some dispute earlier about when the generals and defensive works get applied, so I'm going to reread this just to verify that we're all on the same page. No, you don't have anything in Discord yet. Nothing's popped up yet. Oh, the that response. Yeah, it was an old response. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, we're on the same page. All right, continuing. Modifying roles. Leaders in defensive works may affect the result of the roles by modifying the results of attack rolls. Leaders can help influence a battle by getting in and amongst their soldiers to help fortify their morale and encourage them to fight harder, but doing so puts them at risk of becoming a casualty. The general affect the battle by applying their leadership score, +1 for subgenerals, +1, 2, or 3 for kings and commanding generals, to 1 or more dice from the attack roll, possibly turning a miss into a hit. Kings and commanding generals need not use their entire leadership score, nor do they have to apply it to only one roll, but they may not provide more increases than they have in leadership score. For example, a +1 subgeneral may only apply their +1 to 1 die roll, resulting in a result of 4 into a 5. A +2 king may apply a +2 to 1 die roll or a +1 to 2 die rolls, or he may decide to only apply a +1 to 1 die roll. Players may use as many generals as they have present at the battle, but doing so exposes each general to becoming a potential casualty. Defenders modify their rolls before the attackers. In the event of a meeting engagement, a 50-50 die roll is made to determine who modifies the die rolls. Then we go to defensive works. Defensive works allows the defender to apply penalties to the attacker's attack roll. The number of penalties that a defender may apply is based upon the total number of SP, including Guard, Marine, Militia, and Native Allied SP that took part in the battle, not the number of dice rolled. The defender may split the penalties amongst the attacker's rolls as they desire. Defenders benefit from defensive works even if they have a fortress. Penalties for defensive works are applied before the bonuses for leaders. So, in the previous battle, I made an error. I can't remember what battle it was exactly, but the defensive works get applied before leaders apply their attack rolls. So, I don't think it actually affect. I think in the end, it didn't actually affect the battle or the losses, although it did make a leader a potential casualty when it need not have been a potential casualty. So, anyways, so we've got 3 Russian red dice versus 4 black Ottoman dice. And again, remember the first black Ottoman die that is a 5 is not counted. Here we go. Whoa. Wow. So, this this is going to be interesting. So, all right, this is what we got. We've got 2 Russian hits, 2, 3 Ottoman hits. Now, to take into account, penalties for defensive works are applied first, so the Ottomans are going to apply their defensive works to that number 5 to knock it down to a 4. All right. The Russian commander it makes sense to um, knock this 4 up to a 5, so they're back to 2 hits. Now the Ottomans are in an interesting quandary because they have 2 5s and 1 6, so they've got 3 hits. So as it would stand, if the Ottomans did nothing, they'd still only get 2 hits and it'd be a tie, basically be 2-2. But what the Ottomans can do here is they can use one general to roll their 4 to a 5. I mean, defenders modify the rolls before the attackers, but it's not going to. I would suspect that no matter what happens, the Russians are going to lose, and they're going to try to, at least try to do the most they can to knock down as many Ottomans as they can. So, with that, the Ottomans would have 4 hits with 1 6 and 3 5s. The problem is 1 5 goes away, so that knocks them down to 1 6 and 2 5s. With only using 1 leader. The second leader does not need to be used. So that would mean the Ottomans win. The Ottomans win, but they lose 2. The Russians lose, but they lose 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So then we get to figure out what happens to the leaders. The Russian leader well, Sean, I see your note to use them both. They don't need to use them both. Using them both is not going to gain you anything. Because you're still going to lose a 5 no matter what you do with it. So there's no advantage to using the extra general. So the Russian general rolled a 5. The Russian general is safe and will be able to retire. The Austrian general, on the other hand, rolled a 5. The Austrian general is also safe, so the Austrian general will be able to remain as well. But now we do retreat fire. The Russians are retreating with 5 SP against the Ottoman 6 SP. So let's find out how many dice we've got. Russia Group E 5. They have 1 die. Ottomans A at 6 get 3 dice. So the Ottomans will roll 2 dice to see how many more casualties they cause. They need a natural 6. Oh, they do. They got one. They got a 5 and a 6, so they hit 1. So they get 1 additional casualty. So in total, the Russians lose 4 for their battle in Crimea. Actually, I'm going to do this. And battle in Georgia, and they retreat into Crimea. The Ottomans maintained Georgia with 6 SP. So let me write that down. RU minus 4. Minus 2 SP. There we go. All right. is that Fuhrer, not entirely sure what F-O-E-R-E means. But, all right, I do believe the last thing to do, Silesia, Universe, provinces, we had +1, SP, France, holds. We did Georgia, we did Mysore. Okay, last is Silesia. The Austrians, 5, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16. So they'll get 8 dice. Let the Austrians roll white dice for this. This will be pretty exciting. The Austrians will be rolling 8 dice. The Prussians, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 14, 16, 17. We'll get 9 dice because that'll round up to 9. We'll have them roll black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Austria, seriously, you want to... Wait a second. Austria, let's see. Austria, really, you want to retreat? Okay, I mean, that is entirely your prerogative. All right, so Austria is going to retreat, or going to attempt to retreat then. So, where's my rules? Where's my rules? Spin, here we are. Retreat dice. Austria C, you have 16. You have 6 dice for retreat. 3, 4, 5, 6. Prussia, they have 17. Group B, they have 7 dice. 2, 4, 6, 7. So that means Prussia gets to roll 1 die. But Prussia has guard cavalry there, so they get a second die. So Prussia gets to roll 2 dice in retreat. They got 1. Almost got 2. They rolled a 5 and a 6. But they got 1. So Austria retreats -1 SP. And I will just go with that right there. Apparently, General Dawn was in charge of that Austrian army right there. Bert C says, "What about guard? You got him. He was in there. That helped you get the one hit." So, as far as I can see, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of combat. There is no more combat. We move to our supply and control phase. Our supply and control phase, the only one that I'm aware of, is England abandoned Nepal, so they go down one. But I believe everybody else, France went up two, we got that. So I need to change that flag out. It's not Sweden, this is France. Wait, no, that's not right. That was Sweden. Grr. Hey, buddy. Sweden. I was thinking of the wrong one. I was thinking of Hesse. Hesse is controlled by France. That's right. All right. So that is it for supply and control. You want to help me roll some dice? Okay. I've got a helper. So next we're going to move to random events of turn 5. So this is what I need you to do, bud. Grab one die right here and roll it right in the middle right there. Yeah, be careful where you roll it, so that way you don't knock stuff. 3. So we have 3 territories. Let me write that down. Turn 5. 1, 2, 3. All right, now, bud, what I need you to do is take 2 dice. So you just grab 2 of them right there. There you go. And again, roll it in that area right there. This is for the first territory. 10. Number 10 is a revolt. No SPs or point values are raised in the territory while the revolt is in effect. The revolt continues until the number of SPs in the occupying force exceeds the territory's production value. Now, recalling Bohemia was also in revolt. It is no longer in revolt because they did move enough SP in there to do that. So the first territory is revolt. Okay, roll it again. 7. 7 is famine. That'll be subtract 1 production value in the territory this turn. No SPs may be raised in the territory. All right, and then a third one. 5. We have 5. Number 5 is sympathetic local ruler. Production values this turn are doubled. Occupying player's SP is increased by 2. All right, bud. Now you need to roll. I need to get you the dice. Hold on a second. The big bag of dice. That is correct. Gotta dig through my dice bag. 1, 2. All right. Here we go. We're going to count the red die as high as the tens die. So go ahead. This is going to tell us what territories get these effects. So roll the first one. Again, same spot. 99. Have not seen 99 yet. Let's see. It's that way. Red's high. 99 is Portugal. Portugal is under revolt. So if we remind ourselves what revolt is, no SPs or PVs are raised in the territory while the revolt is in effect. Revolt continues. I don't think we're going to have. I don't know. Maybe we could do something where we're an NPC that there's an effect for an NPC country. All right, second one there, bud. Again, reds are high. 60. What is 60? 60 is Albania. Albania has famine. I'm sorry, hon? Yep. So Albania is right here. That has famine. Okay, one more time. 77. 77 is northern Ukraine. Northern Ukraine has sympathetic ruler. So to review, sympathetic ruler is production values are doubled and SPs are increased by 2. So I said northern Ukraine. So real quick, pardon me, hon. We're going to put 2 extra in northern Ukraine here. All right. Off-board front allocation. Here we come back over here. Okay, I need you to roll 1 die here, bud. Same spot. 6. So off-board front, Turks pay 9 gold pieces. All right. Jacobite Rebellion. The Jacobite Rebellion is continuing. So we roll to see how many reinforcements they get. They did not win a battle, so they don't increase by a +1. They did not lose a battle, so they don't decrease the die roll by a -1. James Edward, or Jameson, you want to roll this? So it's just a straight die roll. Again, right there. 5. 5. The Jacobites raise 1 more SP to their cause. The cowardly English ran out of Scotland, leading to them to their favor. All right, see ya. Thanks for your help. All right. Tropical diseases. Are there any territories where we need to worry about tropical diseases? It looks like the only one are the French West Indies and Jamaica. So the white die will be the French West Indies, the red die will be Jamaica, and we also have the fleet, so I'll roll the fleet here in a minute. So first things first, if they get a 1, then they are affected. No 1s, they are not affected. But we do have a heavy battle fleet, 2 light fleets, and a transport fleet that need to roll. So heavy battle fleet, 2 lights and a transport. So the red die will be the heavy, the white will be the lights, and the black will be the transport. Again, if they get a 1, they're affected. Nope, everybody's okay. And then finally is the Spanish treasure fleet, which does not occur in this phase. So that is it, everyone, for turn 4 and the random events of turn 5. Not too much action. We had some fighting in out in the east there with the Russian Ottoman War, Russo-Turkish War. And then the United Provinces raised their flag in the favor of the Swedes. And looks like there is minor skirmishing in Hessia, to which the Franco-Austrian alliance pushed the English garrison out of there. But other than that, it was a pretty quiet turn as far as battles go. So Um, Before we go, I'll take a quick look at the old chat here. Let's see, looks like Mr. Entwistle. The Empress orders the bells rung to celebrate the holding of the Crimea against the godless Turkish hordes. Yes, very, very good, and defending against that. But let's see. Nothing to see there. Does anybody else have any comments? And I'll give it a minute or two. Otherwise, we will say our goodbyes. And again, I apologize for the long delay. Again, had some technical issues. I think um, if we hadn't had to deal with that delay, it would actually been a quick stream. I'm thinking probably less than an hour and a half. Um, so it's good to know that that stuff's starting to, progress rapidly. But other than that, I guess it looks like that's it. Great job. Thank you, Mr. Cyrus. Great job. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's input. And I think with that, we'll go ahead and call it a night and or morning for some of you who happen to be on the other side of the world. And everybody have a great day. Ciao.